Hopefully clearing up some confusion today on the College Investor Audio Show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We have a really good one, something we get asked about a lot, financial aid letters and things like that. And specifically, how am I supposed to read this aid award letter and the aid award package? Let's take a look at that. If you want to dive deeper into this and anything we talk about on the podcast, you can always check out the website. Oh my goodness, it is a treasure trove of amazing information, tips, tricks, and everything at thecollegeinvestor.com. Also, drop us a line, shout out to us, get to know us. We'd love to get to know you and help you along in your money journey, wherever that is, at The College Investor. Search for those words on social media and you'll find us pretty much anywhere you are. Okay, so today, how to read a financial aid award letter and package. Let's take a look, shall we? We shall. So getting a financial aid award letter is really the first step in making a college admissions decision. You've been accepted to your school of choice. Congratulations, woohoo, throw a party, and you've been awarded a financial aid package. Okay, it's all good things, but once you open up the financial aid award and start reading about it, your excitement just turns to confusion and frustration. Am I right or am I right or am I right? Welcome to the annual interpretation of your financial award letter. All right, so while there are some guidelines for schools to follow in creating these awards, for whatever reason, there aren't any strict standards on formatting. This often leaves many schools using unfamiliar formats and terminology. Thanks, school. Unfamiliar language and cryptic codes can be found throughout many financial aid awards. Loans and grants can be lumped together. Codes like L or LN are sometimes the only indication that an amount is actually a loan. In fact, most of the financial aid, air quotes, students receive come in the form of student loans. Debt to me doesn't seem like an aid. It's more of a burden, but I digress. Additionally, the true cost of attending the school is often underestimated on award letters. This can leave students constantly coming up short on funds to pay for school. That's frustrating. So this guide will walk you through exactly how to read, compare, and evaluate your financial award letter, no matter how confusing it might look. We'll also show you how to spot red flags, determine your real costs, and decide whether you should appeal for more aid. Some things might get a little bit confusing in audio form. I always recommend check out the article along with this podcast at thecollegeinvestor.com. First up, let's talk about how to read a financial aid package. Your financial aid award letter outlines the support the school is offering for one academic year. But keep this in mind. There's no standard format. Two colleges can show the exact same information in totally different ways. Most letters, though, include some combination of these things: cost of attendance, or COA, your financial aid awards, grants, scholarships, work-study loans, etc., your student aid index, or SAI, and your remaining financial responsibility. Some letters include all of this very clearly. Others bury or even omit key details like what's considered a student loan, which is why understanding every single piece of this thing matters. Also, most award letters are per year, so keep that in mind as you walk through it. We have an awesome example, a sample of a financial aid award letter from UC Merced. It's very similar to what you'd get from pretty much any college, and you can see it in all of its glory on thecollegeinvestor.com right inside this article. But I'm not going to go through all of it because it would be really confusing to say and listen to. So let's skip that. Just know that it's there for you inside the article and go to cost of college terminology. Understanding the terms used to describe the cost of school can help you better interpret your award letter and also ask the right questions when something doesn't seem to make sense. Starting with net cost. This is the difference between the cost of attendance, all college costs, and the total financial aid award. So for example, cost of attendance could be like $45,000 for tuition and fees, $15,000 room and board, $2,000 for books and supplies, $1,000 for transportation, and $3,500 miscellaneous. The total would be $66,500. Your financial aid package. Maybe you get like a $6,000 Pell Grant, $2,500 for Federal Perkins, and it has an L there. $13,000 for Parent Plus with an L, and $8,000 for Federal Unsub Staff. All right, that'd be $29,500 total, and then you have $37,000 left over expected net cost. So from the stuff that I just said, net cost subtracts all forms of financial aid, of which there are two: gift aid, scholarships and grants. This is free money that you don't have to pay back. And then there's self-help aid. A lot of these terms it's just confusing. These are loans and student work studies, money that has to be repaid. The formula for net cost is net cost equals cost of attendance minus full financial aid. The net price subtracts only gift aid. So using the example that I just went through, so your cost of attendance is $66,500. That's the total. And then the gift aid is just $6,000 for the federal Pell Grant. Your total expected net price, $60,500. The formula for net price is net price equals cost of attendance minus gift aid. I hope you're following me. I know it's in audio form and it can be a little weird with all the numbers. So what do the differences between net cost and net price mean? Net cost can give the impression that financial aid is covering more cost than net price. Okay, this is very misleading, and it's why it's so confusing and frustrating for these things. The student will still have to pay back any loans or participate in work-study programs that are included in net cost. Net price can be thought of as the discount, sticker price on college cost. This is the number that you will need to somehow pay for. This is again, you got a grant, you subtract the grant, and that's it. Depending on the award letter, net cost or net price will be used. Don't let either of them throw you off, because now you know what's involved in arriving at both of those numbers. Now, let's take a look at SAI, or Student Aid Index. It's another number that might be buried somewhere in the letter. That can be included in the net cost number since it's money that the student has to come up with. You can check out our net price calculator tool, by the way. It's right inside this article. There's a link to it at thecollegeinvestor.com. If you're ever confused listening to this, you can always just hit pause and then go to the article. Maybe you can follow along there. It might be a lot easier, actually. All right, so here's how to arrive at the true cost of college. No matter what your award letter looks like, it's not likely to show the true cost of college. You might run away if it did. In the examples we've talked about today, the cost of attendance has several line items included, so don't be surprised if your school only lists tuition and fees. This can leave out like $20,000 plus in cost once other expenses are added back in. Tuition and fees price looks like, oh, that's not that bad, but then you do all the other stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's... So here's one thing that schools will do. They calculate net price based on only 2 line items for the cost of attendance, and this will be grossly underestimated. It just looks better than it is. A lot of students are caught off guard by this fact and only realize it once they're just like a few months into their education and they go, wait a minute, how much is this? So this creates a situation where a student is kind of scrambling to find some way to finance various costs associated with their education. I ran into this my senior year, which I'm glad it was only that year, and I had to come up with like a $6,000 private loan to take care of the rest of the cost that I didn't know about. I remember that. That was a little stressful, but it wasn't that bad. It was just $6,000, which I could pay back pretty easily. But you can imagine if you're just a few months into it and all of a sudden, wait, I owe $40,000 more dollars? In the worst case, some students simply just give up and leave school. Hence the graduation numbers. Let's talk about front-loading and private scholarships. Okay, so be aware. Some colleges offer higher gift aid during the first year and a whole lot less after that. This is a practice referred to as front-loading. Check with the financial aid office for more information if this is something the school does. You might not get a straight answer, though. In that case, the U.S. Department of Education's College Navigator tool can be of some help. Again, there's a link to it inside this article. Either way, do your best to get an answer so that you can plan properly. If you're receiving private scholarships, they can have a negative impact on your needs-based financial aid. Depending on the school, either your gift aid or self-help aid loans may be reduced. Again, you'll want to check with the school on what impact any private scholarships may have on your financial aid. Is your financial aid award good? All right, so now that you know how to read this thing, the real question then comes up, how do I know if I'm actually getting a good financial aid award? It's kind of hard to know. You do know that some students are paying full price. And you also know there are students getting a full ride scholarship. Most students, though, pay kind of somewhere in the middle. An easy way to see if you're getting a good financial aid award is to use a free tool called Tuition Fit. Tuition Fit anonymously aggregates financial aid awards and then shows you where you stand. All you got to do is upload your own award, and they'll tell you how it compares to others. You can check out the link to Tuition Fit inside this article again at thecollegeinvestor.com. It's a wonderful tool. All right, now, let's say you get to the end of this whole thing and you want to appeal your financial aid award. Let's talk about that. You've received your fat admissions packet, and it is fat. You toured the campus. You even bought a t-shirt. But your financial aid package falls short of expectations. You may have even had to finance that t-shirt. Why? Because it's like $40 at the bookstore. Don't go to the bookstore to buy merch. Anyway, maybe you didn't get any scholarships or grants, just a student loan and a t-shirt. Or maybe you were expecting an amount a whole lot larger than you were even offered. It's important to note that appealing a financial aid award successfully is very rare. However, it doesn't mean you can't try, and you should try, and the earlier you try, the better. Here's what you need to do to appeal your financial aid. First, set up an appointment with a financial aid officer. Before you appeal a financial aid award, check out your school's financial aid website. Bigger schools usually publish a formal process for appealing financial aid decisions. If the school has the process published, follow it. Smaller schools might not have the process published. In that case, just call, set up an appointment. Once you know your school's policies, reach out. It's better to call than to email a financial aid officer. Sometimes that seems kind of weird. Why is that? It's really easy for overworked financial aid officers, and they are all overworked, by the way, to miss an email, or even two. A few people can serve thousands or tens of thousands of students. It's true. So when you call, request an appointment to meet with a financial aid officer. They got a lot of people asking for appointments. An in-person meeting is the best way to get a financial aid officer to become your advocate. If you can't meet in person, set up a phone call to review your award. Talk to someone. While you're making calls, consider calling the admissions office too. The admissions office may have information about unclaimed merit scholarships that can help you out here. And then what you want to do, once you get the meeting, you want to prepare for your meeting. Here's how to do that. When you do meet with a financial aid officer, you'll request a reassessment of your aid award. If you're going to get more aid, you're going to need to prepare for this. There's a few things you need to know prior to your meeting. How is your school calculating expected family contributions? Your university may use the EFC number from your FAFSA, or they might use a number calculated from the CSS profile. Either way, though, you need to know how much your university expects from your family. The second thing, what do you and your parents think is your unmet need? Have a specific number in mind. Then gather documentation that shows why you and your parents just can't cover the gap. A family budget, or documentation of a family change, like a divorce, a job loss, all those things, that goes a long way in altering your aid. Then, do you have a better package at a different school? A school may increase your merit aid if they know another school offered you more money. The next thing you can do is, did your situation change from when you first applied? This can be helpful in understanding any changes and boost your chances of getting more aid. Okay, now, here's what to discuss during the meeting with a financial aid officer. You gotta be careful about how you conduct yourself. Financial aid officers aren't going to be comfortable or feel comfortable calling the meeting a negotiation. You and your parents need to be careful to keep the tone of the meeting assertive, but non-confrontational. You want the financial aid officer to become an advocate and a partner with you. They want you to come to school and be a part of their campus. Start with the meeting by saying, I'd like to reassess my financial aid awards package because, well, reason 1 and reason 2, and then list all your reasons. Would you like to see documentation about these reasons? Then, listen. Take the time to listen to what they have to say. You should view the financial aid officer as a partner in this. The financial aid officer should be able to explain what they can do and what they cannot do. If you're already an accepted student, they're going to want to work with you. However, if enrollment is high, they might not have more merit awards or subsidized loans to offer. That's why the earlier the better when you're getting into all these things. If the financial aid officer is unable to award any grants or scholarships, ask them to keep an ear out for opportunities. Remember, a financial aid officer is your advocate, not your adversary. Most of the time, a financial aid officer isn't really going to give a definitive answer about adjusting financial aid during the first meeting. That's normal. So instead of pressing for an answer right now, ask when and how you should follow up with them. And then, here's how to follow up. All right, so once you've done the meeting, thank the financial aid officer, because they're your partner, and promptly follow up with any documentation they requested. Sending a thank you note through the mail, like the actual mail, with paper and stamps and such, is also a really thoughtful gesture. If you don't hear back about a reassessment, follow up via email then, and then a phone call. The financial aid officer might not adjust your award, okay, but they should tell you a definitive yes or no and give you the reasons why. Students who don't get enough aid from their schools still have options, though. Some schools will push you to expensive private loans, but those should be a last resort. Consider all of these options first. You can work more during your education. Please consider that. It's just going to make you a better person. You can choose a less expensive school, or you can defer enrollment for a semester to work and save some money. Last thing you can do, find outside grants and scholarships. Don't even touch private loans until you've done those other 4 things first. If you end up enrolling at the school, keep in touch with the financial aid officer. They can help you navigate tuition hikes and changes to their aid policies. College lasts 4 years, hopefully, and you got to prepare for all 4. Final thoughts. So navigating your financial aid award can be difficult and confusing. We know this. They don't make paying for college easy at all. However, you kind of owe it to yourself to work hard to get any free money you can to pay for school. I hope that was helpful today. I know a little bit longer than usual, but so much information, and we didn't even get to it all. There are resources, links galore inside this article that will give you all of the tools you need to help you in this journey. We'd love to get to know you at thecollegeinvestor.com. You can also follow us and like us, all those things on social media. We're pretty much anywhere you are. Search for The College Investor. You're going to find us. Thanks again for stopping by today, and we will talk to you again real soon.